Welcome to the FCICA product webinar series. We are pleased to have Claire Thomas of Metropolitan Ceramics with us today. Claire, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lizzie. I very much appreciate you letting us be part of this monthly event, and this is our first go around. So thank you all for attending and dialing in and watching on your screen. Quick background of my background with the flooring industry. I have had experience in the distribution and wholesale side, as well as a contractor, as well as in the manufacturing in the carpet and vinyl industry, as well as the last 14 years with Metropolitan Ceramics, representing Metro Quarry Tile and Royal and Metro Thin Brick, which are basically all quarry tile in the shape of brick. So don't be afraid to inquire about them, to ask about them, to install them. We'll get rolling with the program. The program itself is a modified version of our CEU program that we offer to architects and designers throughout the country. It is something that is, again, if you have any questions, comments, please don't hesitate to chime in, call in, dial in, get a hold of me, however you want to do it. So to reference a couple questions prior to this, no heckling, please. I appreciate that on my end, but I will answer any questions that you may have. Again, what this program is, it's about choosing the right flooring for demanding environments. What we'll do is that we'll go through what demanding environments are, with the failures that come about from a demanding environment, why ceramic tile is the best option for these options or these flooring environments, other products that have been used, and basically what quarry tile is, how it's made, and then a recap of the products that are generally specified for demanding environments. So we'll get rolling with the program. Again, choosing the right flooring for a demanding environment. You're welcome to, as far as the slides themselves, they are from our library, and they are installations of generally quarry tile. This one in particular is a craft brewery, which is something that is a demanding environment with the carts rolling across it, and what the chemicals that are used to clean the machinery and the vats themselves. So this is one. All these will be considered as demanding environments. So we'll get rolling. Metropolitan Ceramics, we've been around since 1866. We originally made paving bricks that have been known to be installed in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, hence the Brickyard. We were one of the original vendors that provided paving bricks for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we have a long history in the ceramic and brick making industry. Most recently, within the last half century, we've been making quarry tile. What is a demanding floor environment? And please, some of the pictures, this is probably the worst of them all as far as in appearance, but this is actuality. This is what happens day in, day out in a commercial kitchen. Hopefully they tend to this in a timely manner where maintenance comes into play. But what is a demanding environment? Heavy foot traffic, extreme temperatures, wet areas, low tolerance for contaminants. And we're talking not only day in, day out foot traffic, but you're rolling carts across it. When we reference extreme temperatures, we're talking in and around fryers, in and around heat, in and around ovens, in and around cold and frozen storage areas as well. Needless to say, these areas are going to have a lot of moisture to it, a lot of wetness. It's just basically a very slippery environment. Heavy industrial traffic, exposure to spills, must maintain an acceptable appearance overall. You want something that the customer is going to look back and see and basically say, man, that's not going to make me throw up or make this particular meal I'm eating that much less desirable. But as far as, again, heavy industrial traffic, we're talking machinery rolling across it, heavy carts with casters, metal casters, rubber casters. This particular picture is a pool at Marshall University. And not only what's rolling across it to change out for events, but you have the contaminants of what's used to clean the pool, a pool deck, so it's exposed to bare feet. So you want something that's going to be extremely clean and extremely health conscious as well. Commercial kitchens, again, is a demanding environment. Outdoor areas, supermarkets, public and private buildings, interior and exterior. This particular picture is a picture of the Georgian Hotel outside of Atlanta. an exterior walkway that is used day in, day out for people walking across. They're serving products on there, as well as it needs to maintain the exposure to all the elements. Comes into play with supermarkets, and again, commercial kitchens is primarily the most demanding environment there is because of the contaminants and everything else that goes into a commercial kitchen. Locker rooms, industrial applications, dealerships. Car dealerships, not only in the showroom areas, but the service bays themselves are very demanding environments where you have not only spills of oil and grease and other contaminants to clean those, but you have basically cars and heavy traffic rolling across it. Locker rooms and restrooms as well. Schools and universities primarily use a quarry tile, if you will, or some type of ceramic because of the durability of it overall. When floors fail, you have many issues that happen. When a floor is compromised either by way of the concrete itself underneath or something falling on it. You want something that's going to be as durable as that you can get. This particular picture is basically a picture of a spalled piece of concrete. And this can happen with something falling on it or the fracture itself coming up from underneath. Here are some examples of some floor failures. This particular, needless to say, this particular picture is corrosion around a drain. With the flooring yourself or whatever surface this is, you're going to get cracking and spalling, chipping, delaminating, and corroding that can happen on most other flooring environments. And in all honesty, there can be some corroding when it comes to ceramic tile, but it's much more much more maintainable, especially compared to other products. Melting, surface wear, discoloration, and tearing mostly and primarily have to do with vinyl or rolled-on products. Rarely have to do with ceramic tile. So that's something that, again, is one of the benefits of ceramic tile. Most successful floor will not be compromised and will provide decades of service is primarily a ceramic tile. And this, of course, in reference to a quarry tile, but most ceramics will have will hold up to heavy foot traffic, surface abrasion, contaminants, heavy carts, wet areas, as well as extreme temperatures. And again, the primary basis of this is how the product is made as far as quarry tile or as far as tile itself. Why is ceramic tile the best option for demanding environments? We're talking with this picture in itself. This is, needless to say, the space shuttle. The exterior skin of the space shuttle itself is made of ceramic tile, and the entering and exiting as it enters and exits the atmosphere, the skin of the space shuttle itself meets and exceeds temperatures of 3,000 to 4,000 degrees. And so you want something that's either going to hold up and not going to let anything on the inside, a la human beings, melt or be harmed by this. So again, the skin itself needs to maintain the integrity of basically shielding and insulating the inside. So, and again, the best product for this has been ceramic tiles, and it had been used on the space shuttle for years. Why is ceramic tile the best option? It is a combination of the clays and shales and silica that's used in the process of making the product. This is a picture of the kiln of one of our kilns that has a quarry tile stacked on end as it's pushed through a kiln. The other processes of making ceramic tile is pressing it, which there are not some concerns, but there are some concerns with regards to the integrity of a pressed product versus an extruded product, which is what quarry tile is. This kiln itself is about 120 yards. It takes 30 hours to process the quarry tile as it goes through the kiln, 12 hours to dry it, and then 18 hours to bake it. And in that 18 hours, it hits a peak temperatures of about 2,000, 2,200 degrees. So basically, you're firing out all moisture, all impurities, and making it a very sustainable inert product. This is a picture of a Mission Foods location. It needs to say an industrial food processing facility. You can see the pallets, you can see the heavy carts that roll across it, easily maintainable, and it's something that's extremely durable. In this facility, you not only have extreme temperatures, but you have the roller traffic. You have some extreme measures that are happening in this place every day. Other options or why ceramic tile is the best option for demanding environments, it needs to look good. This particular picture is the Navy Pier in Chicago. The quarry tile that's been installed not only on the floor itself, but up and down the stairways, has been down there for years, and it still has a wonderful appearance. It is maintained very well, and I will emphasize maintained very well. It not only holds up to the foot traffic, but to the wheel traffic of delivering and maintaining that entire facility. So again, overall ceramic tile and quarry tile needs to be nice looking in appearance anyway. What other options that are out there that people use for demanding environments? And we see these every day, and we see these fail every day. But we also see them last, but also have other concerns with these things every day. A couple other options for demanding environments include vinyl tile. I know many of the members of the FCICA, if not all of, install, promote, and maintain vinyl tile, VCT, LVT, other vinyl flooring, other products that are other than ceramic. And I'm not going to beat up on these too much, but basically I'm just throwing you the facts out there as to why these things I have concern with longevity and how it does or how it can get beat up over time. VCT, vinyl tile, vinyl composition tile, if you will, is about 85 to 90% of limestone, so it's a very hard surface. It's very durable, but the other concerns with it is that it needs to be sealed. It needs to be maintained. It's fairly inexpensive going in, but the longevity of it, it can fade. It can have some slip resistant issues. It can be, it can chip. It can crack. It's basically a covering of the concrete below. So if you have a fracture in that slab, the most apparent place it'll be will come up through the tile itself. Slip falls are also concerned with this, and also has to do with the maintenance of it. The wax that's used, you need to put 3 coats of wax on it right away, and again, the maintenance of that is a long-term concern. Other products used for demanding environments are poured epoxy or poured flooring, if you will. There are some urethane flooring products out there that are poured on, troweled on. They look great. They're seamless. You don't have a lot of issues with traffic and things rolling across it, but it will show some wear patterns. It can, once it tears, you can expose the concrete. And to fix that concrete, generally the products that are used to fix that concrete and to repair any issue are toxic. And in toxic situations, you have to remove all flooring or all food products, especially in the commercial kitchen. You have to remove all food products and maintain an area that is extremely clean, and it's very expensive to repair an epoxy floor. As far as other products that are available that have been used for demanding environments, poured concrete. We see it every day where someone's using a poured concrete in the commercial kitchen, and it's in many health codes will not allow that. In today's world, as health codes change to basically finished projects and to open doors, many times poured concrete is used, and basically you're relying on the sealer itself to maintain it. You're walking the wear layer itself, and it can fade. What the sealant, the curing compounds that are used for poured concrete range all over the board, and it actually has to do with how it's applied. Again, to emphasize that the health departments generally do not want a poured concrete or exposed concrete as their commercial kitchen, but we see it not skirt by, but it happens a lot. And not to point any fingers at any particular restaurants, but in many municipalities, they say as long as you have a surface on top of it, you're okay, but that surface can also promote growth of bacteria of what's below it, which is a major concern. Not all ceramic tile is made for demanding environments. There are many ceramic tiles out there that have a light glaze on it. The body of the tile itself, for instance, a 4x4 white wall tile or white body tile, which is generally a talc-based product, and the glazing on it itself is generally a finished glaze, and it is not the best product for a commercial kitchen, needless to say, or for that a demanding environment. And again, there are some other even porcelain products that have a superficial glaze on it that is not best for a demanding environment. Again, as far as roller traffic, that's a primary concern with that type of product, is roller traffic can basically let the glaze fall off. So not all ceramic tile is made for demanding environments. Bottom line, the most economical product, the best for durability, longevity, because it is an unglazed product primarily, and a lot of people can refer to ceramic or quarry tile as burnt dirt. It's primarily shale and or clay with a combination of some other products to maintain color and consistency. But the burnt dirt product called quarry tile is the most durable, long-lasting product for demanding environments. What is quarry tile? Quarry tile has nothing to do with the product being quarried from the earth. Quarry tile itself is by definition an extruded product. The Tile Council North America handbook references quarry tile as extruded. We'll talk about the extrusion process here in a second, but it's primarily from natural clays and shales. Ceramic Tile Institute of America also defines quarry tile as usually a 6x6 product, usually half-inch. There are some 3/8, there are some 3/4 inch quarry tiles. But it primarily, again, the bottom line, it needs to be an extruded product. And Wikipedia, we always reference our friends there. But as far as Wikipedia, again, the extrusion process is what quarry tile is. It's, again, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. The most, the traditional size of quarry tile is 6x6 by 1/2 inch. We at Metropolitan Ceramics, we make a 4x8. We make an 8x8. We also have the ability to make other sizes. We have a 4x12 in this particular line. We have a 6x9. And what we also can do at Metropolitan is we have the ability to give it different textures, which kind of separates us from others within the quarry tile business. We're very, I wouldn't say flexible. You don't want to use the word flexibility when it comes to ceramic tile, but as far as what we can do and how we manufacture, we have many other options to choose from in just your day in, day out 6x6. Quarry tile, not just for kitchens, it can be used anywhere, any demanding environment. Needless to say, the commercial kitchen comes into play. If you have hallways, I can remember a long time ago in high school, we had main corridors in the building that was built in the 1930s that quarry tile down, and it's still maintained. It's still in there, and it's still in one piece. So it's a very, very durable product. I referenced the extrusion process. The extrusion process itself is basically a Play-Doh maker. If you can picture that, it's like a big piece of licorice. It's a big noodle that comes out of a pasta maker. It's one continuous noodle that's being pushed through a die, and that die is sliced up, stacked on end as referenced in one of those earlier slides, stacked up on end, and it's baked. Again, the process for making quarry tile, it's about 30 hours in the kiln. So it's a slow, methodical process, but it's the most efficient way to manufacture large runs of product and to maintain consistency. And if anything, like anybody in the flooring business, no matter if it's vinyl or whatever, consistency and size is what's very important when it comes to install. All quarry tile needs to meet ANSI spec 1A137.1. That's the standard across the board, so all manufacturers must meet that. One of the biggest concerns with any kind of flooring, especially in any commercial kitchen or for any demanding environment, is slip resistancy. Coefficient of friction is the standard or the staple that all ceramic tile, all commercial ceramic tile products are measured by, which is kind of a tough thing to get the same information, coefficient of friction, dynamic coefficient of friction from vinyl and or LVT products that are out there that say that they're commercially rated. It is a struggle, if not requires a call or some type of separate conversation with your rep out there to find out what the slip resistancy or coefficient of friction is of vinyl. They're not forthcoming with this information. It's something that's, I would say pretty well hidden. With Quarry Tile, it is how our product is measured. It is the dynamic coefficient of friction, which is the standard today. 0.42 is the threshold, and all of our products, all of Metropolitan Ceramic products, measure at 0.6 or above. And this dynamic coefficient of friction, again, is the new standard. It is measured by this little machine called the BOT 3000. Sounds kind of cool, but that stands for Binary Output Tribometer, and it basically measures the coefficient of friction, both static and dynamic. It's something that is a portable machine that is generally used, especially when there is a slip fall issue that can be brought to any job site and you can test the floor. The test, again, that's where we talk about the 0.42 is the standard, and all Metro products are 0.6 or above. When it comes to any kind of specification for any kind of commercial product, these are the main products, the main points that you want to look at, especially when it comes to, well, especially with ceramic tile, but break strength, freeze-thaw stability, your coefficient of friction, dynamic and static, and basically how it classifies as far as chemical resistancy. You have many products out there, especially in the vinyl industry, that have that are, again, it's a nice product. It looks clean, looks great, but it needs to be maintained with a wax or some type of sealant. And what chemicals are beating up on that? What chemicals are compromising that surface? Generally, with a ceramic tile, especially Quarry Tile, if you are sealing it, it is some type of water-based or solvent-based penetrating sealer that you can use on Quarry Tile, but it will not affect the slip resistancy integrity of the Quarry Tile itself. So Quarry Tile itself, as it's installed, can always be brought back to its original state, whereas you can't say the same for vinyl products that are out there. For that matter, even epoxy or poured floors. Again, why Quarry Tile? The slip resistancy, low absorption. Quarry Tile itself is considered a vitreous product, between 1% and 3% absorption. Anytime you get below 1%, you're asking for a hydroplaning or a very slippery surface. Most porcelain products that are out there are considered are less than 1%. And again, Quarry Tiles are manufactured to be vitreous between 1% and 3%. And that little absorption itself helps maintain the integrity of the slip resistancy. Our Quarry Tile has relieved edges or cushioned edges. This will help in maintaining the integrity of the floor and for the life of the floor. If something falls on it, it's more a squared edge product or rectified edge is more susceptible to break, whereas our products with their relieved edges are a little bit more soft. It takes us off much more of a blow to chip it. So it's something that is the relieved edges provide a better, longer lasting product. The extrusion process versus pressed. You have with the extrusion process. Again, you're looking at consistency, and the pressure itself that's put on on the clay as it's going through the extrusion process helps maintain the integrity of the body of the tile. Freeze-thaw resistancy, again, is because it's not a glazed product. The clay itself, as it's hardened, as it's fired, becomes an inert product. And again, the way we test ours, we have over 3,000 cycles of freezing and thawing, and it withstands that entire testing procedure. Through the body color, the modularity and sizing, and above all, it's economically friendly. When the last slides of this presentation, we'll talk about the economically friendly part of this. It's fairly inexpensive to make. And as far as set in ceramic tile or set in Quarry Tile, it's the least expensive ceramic tile product to install. It's generally used with racks to install it, which is basically a grid. You're throwing down mortar, putting tile in, and basically tapping it in. Other issues that come into play with why quarry tile, safety itself. In any ceramic installation, you need to have control joints or expansion joints. Depending on the situation, whether it's direct sunlight, atrium, or for that matter, in a commercial kitchen, they need to be within 6 to 10 feet in each direction as far as a control joint. And that control joint is in the slab itself. The slab itself is something that has to have it in there. If not, as a contractor, it's something that you need to bring up with the GC or the people throwing down the concrete, that it's something that is necessary for a ceramic tile installation. And with the modularity of with the 6x6 quarry tiles, it makes it that much more beneficial when installing it, because generally if it is every 6 feet or every 10 feet, you can install it with 6x6 quarry tiles. It'll be within a grout joint, so you wouldn't have to cut it in or saw cut it in like through a piece of a full tile. So the modularity itself of quarry tile, it comes into play with that. Aesthetics isn't the only thing as far as, and I hate to throw that slide at you, but slip falls are a huge issue when it comes to commercial kitchens. And insurance companies, it's one of the biggest claims against any restaurant are slip falls. And not only slip falls from customers, but slip falls from employees. Slip falls have to do with when, say, an employee's walking through a kitchen, and not so much his health and safety, but as he's slipping and falling, his arms are flailing, if you will. Not that I want you to picture any of this, but he's reaching for something or grabbing something, and it could make somebody else slip. It could hit a hot fryer. It could hit a pan of some sort. So it's a very dangerous thing as far as what slip falls can lead to. There are some health issues that come into play, or health concerns in health and hygiene. There are some municipalities in the country that require a quarry tile in their commercial kitchen just because of the health and hygiene issue. Food codes that because it is a very cleanable product, it's the most maintenance-friendly product there is, but again, it still needs to be maintained. Again, some municipalities require a finish on the floor, and when it comes bottom lines to overall cost and durability, quarry tile is the most widely accepted standard for health and hygiene codes. Concerning health and hygiene codes, quarry tile is made, and all of our products are made with I should say, not all of them, most of them in our Quarry Basics line, we have trim that's available that is considered a sanitary code base, which means the front leading edge leads to the surface level of the floor itself, and that becomes a sanitary code base. So that's something that is required in many health codes. Our manufacturing facilities in Canton, Ohio, again, we've been there since 1866, been there a long time. The clays and shales that we use for the manufacturing of our product come from within 30 to 40 miles of our facility, and it's something that is truly a Midwestern product. We take pride in the fact that the clays and shales that are close to us help us keep the cost down and make it a viable product. This is a picture of a bin of dirt, and it is a bin of either shale and or clay. But it's kind of basically what we're doing with it is that we continue to rotate it, keep the moisture in it, and it's something that you have to maintain the integrity of the product. Old saying in the brick and tile industry is that as far as raw materials, you can only mess them up, basically. And I'm being sheltered by my slide here, but it's something that the integrity of the raw material itself will help promote the integrity of the tile itself. This is a picture of our extruder. Basically, if you can think of this is the front edge of your Play-Doh maker. This is the front edge of your pasta maker. So whatever shape that die is, that machine gets very, very hot because of the pressure involved. What we're doing is we're squeezing the clay and pushing it through there, and that is one continuous noodle of clay that is coming out of that extruder. And then we slice it up on end and stack it on end and bake it. So the integrity of the product itself has to do with the die itself and our extrusion process. what we do as far as an extruder, as far as a maker of ceramic tile, we are basically expediting what the earth does with stone or rock. Stone, rock, limestone, marble, granite is all pressure and time, and the raw material itself, which is basically dirt and lava and molten product. What the earth has done to make granite and to make marble is the immense pressure that's put on it and the heat involved, needless to say, which is your heat source, and time. What we do as a manufacturer of ceramic tile is we expedite that by pushing it through a kiln, pushing it through a die. We're giving that clay, that clay or shale, and we're expediting it by firing it through a kiln. And that's the same process like any other porcelain manufacturer out there. That's what a ceramic tile facility does, just expedite what the earth does day in, day out. Our products, as it's extruded, the tile on the right is, as it goes through the extrusion process, it's fairly wet. It's very moist, and it's something that if you stick your finger in that, you can put a pretty good indentation to it. You can bend that product. As it goes through the dryer, 12 hours later, as the dried product, it loses about 3% of the moisture in that process, and then as it's fired in the kiln, it loses the rest of the 6%. So overall, you're losing about, in a sense, about 11% of the body when it comes from as far as it being wet to the fired process. And that body, that 11% is primarily water. So as our ceramic engineers make their hay with us, that product not only has to shrink horizontally but vertically at the same time. So again, like any other product out there, squareness comes into play, and this is where we have to maintain controls as far as how we're slicing this up and how it's baked. As you see, these products here have look like some holes on the end there. We make two pieces of quarry tile at the same time. So this tile itself, after it's fired, is split. It's split with a machine that just basically taps it off center, and the pieces in between that are connecting it or holding it together are recycled. So we are using 100% of the body itself in the manufacturing of the product. And again, the kiln firing is around 2,200 degrees, about the same what heat that lava emits. Pretty hot stuff. We have 4 kilns within our facility in Canton, Ohio, 120 yards each. And again, it's got about 12 hours of drying, which is about 30 yards of the kiln. And the other 80 is the baking of it, is the firing of it. The last handful of slides is going to be a comparison of primarily the 3 products that are used and specified for commercial kitchens: quarry tile, textured porcelain, and pressed pavers. And you'll see there are a lot of similarities between the 3 as we go. And the last couple slides will kind of a recap as to why quarry tile is going to be your best option. This is a tile just going through this, the surface itself and how it's made. Quarry tile is extruded. Textured porcelain is pressed. And so needless to say, so is a pressed paver. The thickness of it as a whole, quarry tile generally is ½ inch thick, although there are some 3/8 and 3/4 inch product, but generally the accepted standard or norm is ½ inch thick product. The textured porcelain is generally either 1/4 to 3/8 inch, and rarely does it get larger or get thicker than a 3/8, and same with the pressed paver. So just the perception itself as a thicker product being more durable comes into play. The extrusion process itself gives it like an orange peel type texture. So basically, as it comes out of the extruder, and then after it's dried and fired, the texture itself has a very subtle texture to it, like comparable to an orange peel. Gives it some slip resistancy right off the bat. With a pressed paver with the textured porcelain, you're basically impressing a texture into it, which is generally like a grid or some type of star pattern. And then a pressed paver is basically a smoother paver or smoother finish that will require some sealing of it, but the smoothness itself contributes to hydroplaning. The water absorption itself, again, across the board, primarily they're all vitreous. Quarry Tile itself with the texture gives it that much more slip resistancy, but as far as how they're all classified, they are all classified as vitreous. The pressed paver itself is kind of on the higher end or the lower end, if you will, closer to 1%, and again, which can contribute to some hydroplaning issues. The body composition itself, the tight die skin, if you will, of the Quarry Tile gives again that orange peel type texture. With the highly pressed, very tight body of the textured porcelain and the pressed paver, again can contribute to hydroplaning, and again it can be a very slippery issue, or it can be a very slippery floor. The textured porcelain is given a texture to help maintain some slip resistancy as a whole, but that's the reasoning for that. The edge itself, I mentioned before, Quarry Tile has a relieved or cushioned edge to it, which again can help maintain the integrity of the floor as a whole. It will last a long time. A squared edge product is more susceptible to chipping, especially when installing and or in its use. And also with the squared edge pressed paver, you can get that same thing where you have a compromised edge that is really it's that much more brittle. The price point itself, economically speaking, Quarry Tile is at the low end of the spectrum when it comes to just the tile itself. Textured porcelains, needs to say, with the processes of what it takes to make it, the clays and shales that are used are very similar in both pressed paver and textured porcelain. Gives it a tighter body, but it generally makes it that much more expensive. It's a more expensive product to produce, package, and install. The installation itself, Quarry Tile, you can use just a standard day in, day out standard mortar or grout. Any textured porcelain or pressed paver, you'll need some type of modified mortar to install. Again, there aren't very few natural pores in a pressed paver or textured porcelain. So you want the mortar to grab hold of something. So you need a modified mortar to make it that much more tacky, right, basically for that much better coverage on it. Yeah, which again can be more costly. The day in, day out standard mortars and standard grouts, that's what you can use for Quarry Tile. The grout itself, the recommended industry standard for all eased edge or cushioned edge Quarry Tiles is 3/8 of an inch. And grout people love to hear us say that, but the 3/8 inch grout joint has to do with the channeling of moisture and or water, as well as it helps give the overall slip resistancy. That makes the slip resistancy that much better. With a smaller grout joint, you don't have as much traction with a 1/4 inch, and also with the 1/4 inch, it actually can emphasize any irregularities with a textured porcelain or pressed paver. Bottom line, this is in conclusion. We do have a couple slides after this. We're basically just saying, ask us questions, comments, and whatever you need. But this is a life cycle cost analysis that was generated by the Tile Council of North America. And after spending time in other facets of the flooring industry, I know that the carpet and vinyl people rarely compare their products with ceramic tile as a whole. Just knowing that longevity-wise, any ceramic tile product that's out there is something that will be more durable, and as far as the life cycle cost analysis of that is much better than any vinyl or carpet product out there. If you can zoom in at all on this slide, the Tile Council of North America is currently updating this, but the top 4 or 5 products on there are all ceramic tile. It has to do with longevity. With Quarry Tile being at the top, it has to do with how it's installed and the very minimal amount of sealing that it takes. Every floor out there needs maintenance, and whether that maintenance is day in, day out, a couple times a day, depending on the traffic, that comes into play with life cycle cost analysis. At the very bottom of that list is VCT, and that is one product that is, again, it goes in cheap, it goes down smoothly, but as far as life cycle costs, you're either going to have to replace it, but the maintenance of it overall is extremely high. So that comes into play with life cycle cost analysis and what it does to the environment. We always say, or I get questions often about, what's sustainability. And I can, to emphasize any ceramic tile, but especially quarry tile, I'd say what is more sustainable than if you never have to replace it. The one thing that comes into, also another thing that comes into play with ceramic tile is that it can last and will outlast the life of the building if it's installed correctly. That's the program itself. Be happy to answer any questions, comments that you may have. I very much appreciate you letting us be part of this program, and as I see some questions roll across, if there are others, please advise. But one question came up as to can quarry tile be used outdoors in hot and cold climates? And yes, day in, day out. No matter what product that Metropolitan makes can be used inside or outside floors or walls. Because it is a vitreous product, it is freeze-thaw stable, and it's something that, again, with the integrity, how it's installed, will have everything to do with the longevity of it. But all Metro products are stable inside or outside. And Lizzie, I don't know if you want me to roll through answering these questions, or if there anything else out there that you may have.
No, you can go ahead and answer the next question that's sitting there.
Okay.
Are there many color and size options?
Color and size options, what Metro has, we have 10 different colors in our day in, day out Quarry Basics, and available 6x6, 4x8, and 8x8, all modularity and sizing. We also have the ability to give it different textures. So there are some products that are out there that have a texture to it. And again, to emphasize, any of these and all these can be used inside or outside floors or walls. The trim that are available with all of our products make it a very usable product to use for outside steps, for wrapping a patio, for up and down a walkway, and say as far as a residential application. We've had a lot of call for lately of someone having just a concrete slab. And with that concrete slab, instead of tearing it out and putting in new pavers, you can just go over the concrete slab with tile. And especially with the quarry tile, it's something that can be used to basically spruce it up. You still need to grout it in, but there are some size options that you can use a herringbone pattern or an ashlar type installation. So there are a lot of options that are out there with the modularity and colors that Metro has.
Awesome.
So that's about it. Hopefully I'm within the time frame that's feasible for everybody. But if you have any other questions or comments, please don't hesitate to ask. All my information is available through Lizzie, or I can respond accordingly. But as Metropolitan Ceramics, we are thankful to be part of the FCICA. I know we're one of the few, if not the only, ceramic tile manufacturer part of the FCICA. For anybody else that's out there listening, don't be afraid to install quarry tile or for that matter, any ceramic. I know the majority of the FCICA members are heavily involved in vinyl and carpet and VCT and other products, but it's something that with offering quarry tile or this other ceramic, it can open up some additional doors for you as far as making additional money down the road as a contractor.
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely looking to expand FCICA into the tile area as well. So having you guys join us is an excellent first step for us. So Claire, thank you so much for presenting today's webinar. Like I said, this is a great jump into tile and especially with quarry tile, a great first step in the right direction for tile education in our industry. Sims who are online, you can now navigate to your Submit Credit tab to complete the feedback survey and receive credit. If you have any questions or issues with submitting credit, please reach out to me so I can help you get that through. Thank you so much for joining us all, and have a fantastic rest of your day.